Welcome back to Study With Me. It's been a hot minute, but I am so glad to be back in this little corner of the internet. I missed you guys so much, and I hope you all have missed me just as much. Just kidding. I know you didn't. You all probably had a great summer without me, so it's good to be back. How's your summer been? Have you done anything fun? Did you travel anywhere? Let me know in the comments. Also, I know I was gone for a while, but please do not worry. I am perfectly fine. I'm just taking a bit of a longer break than usual. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that later on in this video, so stay tuned. If you are new here, welcome, join the family. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. It's nice to see you. Give yourself a little virtual hug. But before we get into the studying, let's get started with some affirmations. I am focused and ready to study. I am excited to learn. I am capable of achieving my goals. I am grateful for my life and all the opportunities that come my way. Today is going to be a great day. Repeat these affirmations to yourself and really believe in them. Because if you don't believe in them, then they're not going to happen. You have to have that belief in yourself. And even if things don't go as planned today, just remember that tomorrow is a fresh start, and you can always try again. All right, so let's wipe those tears away and get back to work. Okay, so today we're studying all about cellular respiration. This is a topic in biology, obviously, and it's all about how cells use oxygen and nutrients to make energy. We're looking at ATP here, which stands for adenosine triphosphate, and that is the main energy currency of the cell. Cellular respiration is important because it allows us to do pretty much everything we do, from moving around to thinking. Okay, so if cells can't make energy, then we can't do anything. That's why it's such an important topic. And the cool thing is that cellular respiration happens in almost every single cell in our body, so it's everywhere. Now, the overall equation for cellular respiration is as follows. It might look a little daunting to you right now, but trust me, at the end of this video, you will understand it, so don't worry. So as you can see, we have glucose reacting with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide, water, and ATP. Now, since this is happening in cells, what we're actually looking at here is the products per 1 mole of glucose. But still, this is a lot of ATP. We are making 38 molecules of ATP here, which is a lot of energy. A lot of energy is being made. So now let's get into the different stages of cellular respiration. First up, we have glycolysis, which takes place in the cytoplasm. So this is outside of the mitochondria. And during glycolysis, glucose is broken down into 2 molecules of pyruvate. And we're also making 2 net molecules of ATP. So not bad, not amazing, but it's a start. And we're also making 2 molecules of NADA, which is an electron carrier. This will be used later on in the electron transport chain to generate more ATP. So keep that in mind. Next up, we have the transition reaction. And this occurs in the mitochondrial matrix. So this is inside the mitochondria. And during the transition reaction, each molecule of pyruvate is converted into a molecule of acetyl-CoA. And we're also generating 1 carbon dioxide molecule here, 1 molecule of NAD, and 1 molecule of ATP. Again, not bad. Not amazing. So we're just converting our pyruvate into acetyl-CoA so we can feed it into the next stage, which is the Krebs cycle. The Krebs cycle, also known as the citric acid cycle or the tricarboxylic acid cycle, takes place in the mitochondrial matrix, and it produces carbon dioxide, ATP, NADH, and FAD2. Now, what is FAD2? Well, this is another electron carrier, so similar to NOT. This is going to be used later on to generate more ATP in the electron transport chain. The cool thing about the Krebs cycle is that it's a cycle, right? So this means that the starting molecule and the ending molecule are the same. So the last product of the Krebs cycle is also the first reactant for the next round of the Krebs cycle. This allows for continuous production of ATP as long as there is sufficient supply of fuel and oxygen. Now lastly, we have oxidative phosphorylation, and this takes place in the inner mitochondrial membrane. So this is the crista of the mitochondria. During oxidative phosphorylation, we are generating a ton of ATP here, up to 34 molecules of ATP, and we're also generating water during this process. Now the cool thing about oxidative phosphorylation is that this is where all the action happens in terms of ATP production. So if you want to increase the amount of ATP produced during cellular respiration, then you need to focus on this stage. And so how do we do that? Well, one way is to increase the efficiency of the electron transport chain. This can be done by consuming foods that are high in iron or copper, for example. These minerals help to transfer electrons more efficiently along the electron transport chain, leading to more ATP production. Another way to increase ATP production during oxidative phosphorylation is by improving mitochondrial health. This can be done by exercising regularly, getting enough sleep, and managing stress levels. When our mitochondria are functioning at their best, they can generate more ATP in response to the same amount of fuel. Alright, so that's just a quick overview of cellular respiration. If you want a more detailed explanation of any of these stages, then please let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to explain it more. And if you enjoyed this video, then please hit the like button. If you love this content, then please consider supporting me. The link is in the description box below. Thank you so much if you decide to support me. It really helps me continue making videos like this. So I've been taking a longer break than usual on social media and YouTube, and I just wanted to explain why. Since I started university, I've been feeling a lot of pressure to perform well academically and to also be active on social media. I felt like I was unable to do both to the best of my abilities, and I was constantly feeling burnt out. So I decided to take a step back and focus on myself and my own personal well-being. I realized that I needed to make a change in order to avoid getting to a point where I was completely burnt out and exhausted. So I started by cutting back on my social media usage. I deleted some apps off my phone, and I limited my screen time on others. I also started seeing a therapist to help me manage my anxiety and stress levels. And I've been trying to focus on self-care by doing things that I enjoy and that help me relax. Like taking long walks, practicing yoga, reading books, and spending time with loved ones. I know that I'm not alone in feeling this way. A lot of students struggle with balancing their academic responsibilities with their mental health and well-being. I think it's important to remember that we're human beings, not just robots that are programmed to work and study all the time. We need to take time for ourselves to recharge and to do things that we enjoy. So I encourage you all to take a step back and evaluate how you're remanaging your own stress levels and well-being. Make sure you're taking time for yourself and doing things that you enjoy. Don't be afraid to seek help from friends, family, or professionals if you need it. Remember that you're not alone, and that taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's important. So I am still figuring things out, and I am still learning how to balance everything in my life. But I'm making progress, and I'm feeling better overall. So thank you guys for being patient with me and for understanding. I hope you all have a wonderful semester, and I couldn't wait to see you all in the next video. Bye. Welcome back to Study With Me. Do you ever feel like you're drowning in a sea of books and papers? Don't worry, I got you. Today I want to share a tiny habit that will change how you study forever. It's so simple, yet so powerful. The best part is, it only takes 10 seconds to do, but it will save you hours of frustration and confusion. Yep, I'm not kidding. This tiny habit is clipping your papers together. Let me explain. Before you start studying, take a few minutes to group your notes, readings, or math problems by topic. For example, if you're studying for a history exam, you might gather all of your notes and readings about a particular time period or event. Or if you're prepping for a math test, you'll put together all the problems and solutions related to a certain chapter or concept. By doing this, you give your brain some much-needed structure and organization. Think about it. When your study materials are all jumbled and random, your brain has to work overtime to make sense of it all. It's like trying to solve a puzzle with a million pieces that don't fit together. But when you clip your papers together, you provide your brain with a clear roadmap of what to focus on. It's like having a guide that directs your attention to the most important information. This allows your brain to relax and focus more effectively on absorbing and retaining information. And the great thing is, you don't need any fancy tools or supplies to get started. All you need is a pair of scissors and some paper clips. They're inexpensive, easy to use, and won't clutter up your study space. Plus, it's a super satisfying feeling when you hear that crisp sound of the paperclip closing. So go ahead and give it a try. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. By clipping your papers together, you'll be able to study more efficiently, retain more information, and achieve better grades. And who knows, you might even enjoy studying. Again, let's go over why this works. When you clip your papers together, you're essentially creating a mini filing system for your study materials. This helps your brain to process and absorb information more efficiently by providing a clear structure to follow. By organizing your study materials, you're re-giving your brain a chance to relax and focus on higher-level thinking skills like analysis and synthesis. And the best part is that it only takes a few minutes to do this before you start studying. The time investment is minimal, but the benefits are endless. So if you're looking for a simple, effective way to improve your study skills, give clipping your papers a try. Might be surprised at how much of a difference it makes. Now that we've got that organizational system down, it's time to dive into our next study tip. You ever found yourself daydreaming or getting distracted while you're supposed to be studying? Don't worry, you're not alone. We've all been there before, but guess what? There is a proven technique that can help you stay focused and achieve your study goals. Active recall. Active recall is a study technique that involves retrieving information from memory rather than passively rereading notes. It's like a mental workout that helps to strengthen your memory and improve your ability to retain information. Here's how it works. Instead of just rereading your notes or highlighting your textbook, take some time to close your book and try to remember what you've learned. You can do this by asking yourself questions like, what was the main point of this chapter? Or how does this concept apply to real-world examples? Or try summarizing the key points of your notes in your own words without looking at them. The reason why active recall works so well is that it forces your brain to actively engage with the material rather than passively reading it. By actively trying to retrieve information from memory, you're helping your brain to solidify the connections between neurons, which strengthens your memory of the material. Plus, it also helps you to identify gaps in your knowledge, so you know where to focus your attention. But here's the best part. Active recall is super versatile and can be applied to almost any type of learning and studying. Whether you're studying for a test, trying to learn a new language, or just want to expand your knowledge on a particular topic, so give it a try. The next time you sit down to study, close your books, turn off your notes, and try to remember what you've learned. You might be surprised at how much you actually know. Next up, it's time to tackle one of the most common and frustrating aspects of study: procrastination. Procrastination is the act of delaying or postponing tasks that should be done, usually because they're boring or unenjoyable. It's something that many students struggle with, including myself. But don't worry, we've got your back. We've compiled a list of tips and tricks that have been proven to help overcome procrastination and boost productivity. One of the most effective strategies is to break down tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks. When faced with a large project or assignment, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and put it off until the last minute. However, by breaking down the task into smaller steps, you make it feel less daunting and more achievable. Setting deadlines for each step can also help keep you accountable and motivated. Another helpful tip is to eliminate distractions and create a dedicated workspace. When you have a cluttered or disorganized workspace, it can be hard to focus and get work done. By decluttering your space and minimizing distractions, you create an environment that is conducive to productivity. You can also try using productivity tools such as to-do lists, calendars, and timers to help you stay on track. It's also important to take breaks and reward yourself for your accomplishments, whether big or small. Taking regular breaks can help you stay focused and prevent burnout. Rewarding yourself for completing tasks can also help keep you motivated and build positive associations with studying and working towards your goals. Remember that overcoming procrastination is a journey, not a destination. Be patient with yourself and celebrate your progress along the way. And hey, if you're still struggling with procrastination, don't hesitate to reach out for help. Talk to your friends, family, or teachers for support and guidance. You've got this. Finally, it's time to wrap up today's study session. Before we part ways, let's quickly recap the 2 study tips we've covered today. First, we talked about clipping your papers together as a simple yet effective way to organize your study materials and improve your focus. By taking a few minutes to clip your papers together before you study, you can provide your brain with the structure it needs to absorb information more efficiently. Second, we explored active recall as a powerful study technique that involves actively engaging with your study materials rather than passively reading them. By practicing active recall, you can strengthen your memory, improve your retention, and boost your overall learning. Remember, these tips aren't one-size-fits-all. Experiment with them and find what works best for you and your learning style. And hey, if you found these tips helpful, don't forget to show your support. Your support motivates us to keep creating valuable content for you. Thanks for joining us today, and see you next time. In the meantime, don't forget to keep learning and stay curious.